In this video, I want to show you how to use the concordance tool, the important word section from the passage guide to create a visual filter document that can be helpful when you're preaching and teaching through a book of the Bible. What's going to happen is we're going to look for important words, and all the words are important within the text, but really some thematic words that we can use we want them to stick out like a sore thumb. So when we're in the text and studying week to week, especially if you're preaching or teaching through that book of the Bible, it's always going to be at the ready. And you're going to remember, oh, these are some of the themes that I need to maybe come back to, or these are the things that Paul, if we're in one of Paul's books, he wanted us to think about. And so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to use the book of Philippians to get this done. The first thing we're going to want to do is open our concordance tool. You can type show concordance in the go box. You can also go to your tool menu and get your concordance there, but if you type show concordance, the option will pop up. Click on it. Concordance, if you're not familiar with this tool, highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite features of Logos. It'll create a word list. It doesn't just have to be the lemma. It could be word, lemma, root, sense, biblical entity, or reference of not only Bibles, but any work within your library. I love the reference concordance search, because then you can get all the references in the text of any book within your library. Can be very helpful for research, and if there's a book you like, to have those Bible verses at the ready. So I love this tool. I will warn you, if you've not used this tool before, it will take a few minutes to run a search. I've already prepared Philippians, and the good news is when you run a search in Logos with the concordance tool, it's going to save that information. So this is already ready. I didn't have to do anything extra. And we're getting this is all the words within the book of Philippians. And as you can see, there's 1,626 lemmas. The number one word is this with 191 usage. What we're trying to do with this search is find words that are repeated. So I'm going to take this count down to 20. And so these are any word that is used between 1 and 20 times. And we're going to look for some words that might be things that just stand out to us. This isn't a scientific. This is just, if I was preparing to preach the book of Philippians, this is how I would handle this exercise. And so we're going to scroll down, and words like according might be one, probably not for this exercise if I'm going through the book, but down here in this 10:9 usage section, there's several good things. There's think, set one mind on, looks like phroneo, adelphos for brother, and then gospel, evangelion, and then Cairo for rejoice, be glad. These are words that I know I'm going to want to create a visual filter for in the text. So I'm going to go to my document menu. I'm going to click on new. I'm going to open up a new visual filter document. And for this to work, you're going to want to be on the morph tab. And we're going to want to make sure we are in the Logos Greek morphology, because we're dealing with Logos Greek words. And we're also going to limit this to, we'll say Philippians, because we don't need this for the rest of the Bible, even though we will cross-reference when we're studying. We don't need this for the rest of the Bible. And what I want to do is I'm going to take, there's this word, phroneo, I'm going to right-click it, and I'm going to copy the text. Then I'm going to type lemma, colon, and press enter. Now I want to choose a formatting style, and you can choose anything that you want that's going to be helpful to you. I'm going, for this exercise, I'll just choose large text to make my point. So I want to add that word to think, set one minds apart on. I want to also add the word adelphos for brother, so I'm going to do the same thing and type lemma like this. I'm going to do the same large text like this. I'm going to do the same thing here. Copy, lemma, copy and paste that, and then we will look down here for large text. And then there was another one, Cairo. All right, I'm going to copy that text. Add that there, and then I will choose this large text highlighting scheme. So, and I'm going to rename this Philippians Sermon Series. But you could name it whatever you want. It's going to hang out and reside, live forever in your in your document menu. You can always right click and delete it if you need, but I don't want to do that right now. But that's where it's always found, is in the document menu. So if you want to add something to this, you absolutely can. Let me open up a Bible and I will show you what it looks like. Close the reverse linear. And you may want to choose a different highlighting scheme that makes it maybe a color. Maybe the large text isn't good for you. But as you can see already, I've got this visual filter. It's automatically entered in. It's called Philippians Sermon Series. It's the one, Logos is wonderful, and that everything works automatically. But this lets me know when I'm in the text, these are some words that I want to think about. These are patterns. These are things that I could come back to. But I'm not done, other than just seeing repeated words that might be important. And I could spend some time here, like genomai. Maybe there's a couple other, but death may be a good one, thanatos. So I would go through and find the words that I want and then add them to this document list. But I also want to go through the passage guide. So I'm going to go to guides, passage guide, because there's a section, and we'll just do the whole book of Philippians. There's a section in here. We're not going to need everything, but we are going to want this important words section. And if you're not familiar with this section, this is a great tool, because as we hover over the question mark, it says the important words tool aggregates data from all commentary resources, not just those in the user's library, to expose words with a high frequency of references. Basically, what that means is when people who write about this passage, so for us Philippians, because we've done a search on Philippians, and it's in a commentary, the developers at Logos and those who work with the resources, they're able to say these are the words that have been talked about the most. So helpful, because we're able to get a picture of, oh, these are the important words. So let's see, some of them match. So phroneo already matches. What is else on here? I'm going to want to add this word morph. So I can right click and then I can copy that text. I can say lemma. I'm going to copy and paste that and do the same thing. Large text. Even though your highlighting scheme, you may want something else that is even better, that would work better for you. So I like that one. I think also I'm going to always remember Jesus and Christ, even though I think that is central to the text. That's not what I'm going to use for this document. I like this one too. We're going to add this one. So I will copy that reference, paste it here, go down here to find my large text. Let's open this up a little bit more just to find. You can do whatever you want. Hopefully this is making sense, but these are important words. So here we have the word for soteria, for salvation, deliverance. We have flesh. I would add several of these words to this text, and you can add as many or as few as you want. But then the point is, when I've got my Bible open, I'm able to quickly, at a glance, if I know my passage, I've got a visual filter. It's only going to show up, again, in the book of Philippians. I don't have to worry about this being up in other books of the Bible. And if I'm done with this sermon series, I can either delete the document or I can turn the visual filter off. So when I check it, it all goes away. But if I'm working through this to preach or teach, I will have it on and at the ready. But it's going to, if I'm preaching or teaching through this, or even studying the passage, it's going to allow some of those words to stick out to me in maybe a unique or different way. It's going to let me see some repeating patterns more quickly. So I think this is a wonderful exercise if you're ever preaching through a book of the Bible, teaching through the book of the Bible, is to add some visual filters, both in a concordance search with the concordance tool or the important words section in the passage guide. Hopefully, this will help you maybe add a little bit of insight or creativity in the way that you use Logos for personal Bible study or preaching and teaching. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to click the subscribe button, like this video, do all the things that people are supposed to do with Logos or with subscription YouTube videos. You know what we do. People do whatever they do for YouTube videos. Do that stuff. I'm going to be putting out a lot more videos that hopefully will enhance your ability to use Logos Bible software in practical and helpful ways. Until next time, God bless.